Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day for everybody. Hari ini kita akan go for chapter 2. Chapter 2, we go thoroughly, but we will discuss this topic again later. So chapter 2 is about personal financial statements. So financial statements that you create for yourself, yang anda buat untuk anda sendiri. Bukan yang financial statements for company, bukan untuk corporation. This all for yourself. Okay, the objective is, of course, bila kita dah ada system untuk maintain, we have to keep some records. Then records will help us to achieve our goals, sampaikan kita punya matlamat. Dan mungkin some flexibility needs to be done in order to not drive away from what you have set earlier as a goals. Okay. Number one objective is to recognize relationship among financial documents and money management activities. Okay. Kalau kita back to the our goals, what we have set for our financial goals, kita kena dah ada some strategy. So some strategy, the first one is to put it into writing, to put into the documents, and the record keeping is helping us for auditing for yourself or for tax purpose, of course, later on lah, when you are ready in your career. Membantu untuk anda supaya tidak spending like unnecessary stuff, ataupun spending using the wants more than what you needs. Okay, back to the objective of planning for successful money management. We look at the opportunity cost and money management. Spending money on current living expenses reduce the amount that you can save and invest. So if you have the opportunity to spend money less than whatever you have or whatever you generate, so you can save. Starting from save, you can invest more in the future. Saving and investing for future reduce the amount you can spend now. Of course, this is the opportunity cost. Investment or savings is sacrificing the things that you can do now for the future reaps or future benefits. Okay. Buying on credit ties up future income. So membeli berhutang, membeli secara kredit, dia mengganggu anda punya future income. So future income dah dapat belum? Belum kan? So that one, dia gonna disrupt your future income, even though the income does not in your hand yet. And using saving for purchases result in loss of interest and depleted saving. Jika kita ada saving walaupun tak ada investment, kita lost the opportunity to get the return on our savings ataupun investments. And this one is smart shopping, comparison shopping. So when you shop, you look at the better offer, so can help you save money and then accumulate your money for investment in the future. But also, they're going to take your valuable time to comparison shoppings. But I don't think it takes so much time now because we have the online shopping, right? Okay, the components of money management have three. Number one, storing and maintaining personal financial records. So this is the part that I told you before for your assignments. So this one we're going to do it for your individual assignment. So today gonna help you to have the insight on how to store and maintain the records. Second is creating personal financial statements. So how to create balance sheets and cash flow statements, and income or an outflow of your income. So duit tu masuk daripada mana, berapa banyak, keluar ke mana. Alright, and the balance sheet shows your net worth. So negative lah biasanya kan, but then still you still can control supaya in the future you should have some positive value of your net worth, you punya kekayaan lah. So your assets is more than your liabilities. And the third one is to create and implementing the plan. Of course, plans is not necessary to be fixed, it's adjustable, ataupun we can make it flexible for the future, ataupun for the something that maybe we need to change for the necessities in the future. As long as we can still achieve the objective of our financial goals. Objective 2, design a system for maintaining financial records. So how? So the current offerings zaman sekarang, we have all the softwares, the apps that can help you to keep the record, but the least you do is using the Excel. So boleh guna Microsoft Excel and keep some records. Yeah, so how to keep the records? Of course, there are some kind of the main format. So you have the format, you check macam mana nak masuk to include all the income. Maybe you have another part-time income, possibly kan, after you graduate you have your career, you have your part-time job, or you have some business to include your income. So the income, and then you have what, something like tax reporting. So this one is important, so you can report your tax and pay your tax if necessary, and you can make effective investment decisions. Investment decision require you have to some capital. If you don't have capital, investment might be difficult to achieve the investment goals. And you should know, and you should make available resources for yourself, for your family, and future buying. Okay, this is some items in your home file you should have. So personal and employment records, so most likely is your pay slip. Money management record means that whatever you spend for your household, maybe you have to make some payment for your educations, PTPTN, MARA, JPA. You have to have a tax record. So every year you have to make a tax evaluation for yourself, tax assessments. So tax ni they have their punya website kan, so you can use that one, ataupun ada software you can try to apply, boleh check in the internet. And financial service record means that whatever you use for financing, for loans and everything else, if you have it. If you don't have, so no problem. Even the credit card, they have statements, so that one is financial service record. Okay, right. And then consumer purchase. Consumer purchase means that whatever you use money for purchasing, maybe on loans too. So such as you purchase a car, the monthly installment, the interest, outstanding balance. Housing record, similar as the consumer purchase, but housing records, something like you have to make a mortgage for a very long time. Insurance record for your risk management. Investment records, so investment record means that wherever you put your money for investments or your asset for investment, you should have records. Where is it? Takut nanti tak tahu kaya semua ni tapi tak tahu kat mana. And finally, estate planning. Estate planning adalah pengurusan pusaka. So bila dah kaya, kena ada pengurusan pusaka lah, because we are not living forever. And retirement records. The final point is maybe the least we can prepare lah. So the other thing is the important stuff. Every year we have to do assessment. This one is safe deposit box. We dah ada, besok dah kerja, dah ada anak. So the things you have to keep the record safely. Birth certificate, marriage certificate, death certificate if any, citizenships, passports, everything else lah yang boleh simpan. Mungkin ada some of your assets in term of coins atau collectibles ataupun some the antiques, maybe you can keep in the deposit box. So keep it safely and hard to be accessed from anybody else, and then keep the password for you and very trustable person to have the copy of the password if necessary. In your computer, this one is most really relevant to the current situation. So if you have the expenses, the cash flow, you have to keep in the current past budgets, summary of check written if you use checks on the current account. Income, past income tax return, tax usually LHDN dah prepare. The Internal Revenue Department, they have the statements for you to keep, and then you can assess all the tax assessment on the years previous and before. Account summary and performance of the investment, for the investment lah. For your saving account, tak berapa penting lah, but then that is where the money come, gaji masuk. Lain-lain mungkin you have the wills. Apa itu wills? Itu adalah wasiat. If adalah kan wasiat. Estate plan, pengurusan pusaka, dan the other documents. Kena scan ataupun kena simpan lah. Berapa lama rekod tu patut disimpan? Selama yang boleh. Tapi for the taxation, 6 years is important lah. So 6 years you can boleh minta you last previous 4 years or 5 years, the LHD can ask you the documents. But the other document kalau boleh simpan sampai forever, like indefinitely. Now, to develop a personal balance sheet. Balance sheet ada apa? The assets and the liabilities and some equities kalau dalam company kan. But then kita tengok asset and liabilities lah for individual ataupun personal finance. So you report. Dia usually by year. So this year you have what? Asset, rumah, kereta, investment in ASB, cash in bank, all these things yang you simpan dalam bentuk liquid or non-liquid, dalam bentuk assets and liabilities. Liabilities sudah ada rumah, kalau bayar cash terror lah. And then kalau tak ada, kita kena buat financing. So ada mortgage, ada car loans, installments, study loans and everything else. For the liabilities, current yang semasa ataupun on the long term debt, jangka masa panjang lah. Nanti I will share you the example of balance sheet. I think I share one of the two, but then I can share you another one. And the data you can use for preparing tax form later on, or you want to apply for credit. For in Malaysia senang je nak tengok apply for credit. You tengok your punya income more than your expenses lah, of course. So and then bila you apply for credits, the credits not maximize. Usually credits, let's say we're taking a car loan or car financing. If car, you can purchase to monthly installments for 30% of your income. 30% from 3,000 is 1,000 installment basis. The car you can make a loan. Memang lepas je nak buy a Honda or anything else. But then that one you maximize your debt for a car. So means that one is something that will be considering by the bank officer or the relevant person for when you applying for another credits or applying for jobs or taking a financial license. So that's the reason they are using the credit rating, or we call it credit score, which is in Malaysia we use CRIS and CTOS. So your record ada in Secris in Sitos, but yeah, setakat ni ada loan BT-BTN je, so okay. So hopefully you tak ada default any buy now pay later schemes lah. And then balance sheet nak start kat mana? Asset apa yang you ada? Liquid asset. Liquid asset ni real estate tu not liquid lah, common lah. Saya tak tahu siapa buat slide ni. Possessions, investment assets, ASB, money in the bank, all those things lah. Real estate tu not liquid lah, not liquid. Lepas tu you ada liabilities. Current liabilities, hutang yang kena bayar less than 1 year. Okay, long term liabilities mostly mortgage and car loans lah. Alright. So nak kira net worth kekayaan anda, senang saja. Your asset, total asset minus your total liabilities, your net worth. Usually kita have negative lah, because yeah, kita hidup dalam zaman yang penuh pancaroba. So the last statement there, insolvency. Insolvency, kalau kita use the normal term is bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is another thing. Insolvency means that tak mampu bayar hutang walaupun dah sampai tempoh dia. They call insolvent. So bankruptcy is a status. Bankruptcy is a status for individual who being chased by the creditor. From the debtor. So then he or she not paying, then he and she need to be rescue ataupun diselamatkan daripada membayar hutang. So the status of bankruptcy is to be applied ataupun to be set to him or her, so the debtor tak boleh kutip hutang lagi pada beliau. Nampak macam best je kan? Tapi ada banyak sangat negative consequences dia lah. Of course, people yang insolvent ni, yang sampai maksimum dia dah tak mampu sangat nak bayar, dia request, mohon ataupun dia di statuskan sebagai bankrupt, so he or she will be able to save himself lah. Maksudnya tak payah bayar hutang lah. But then hutang dalam Islam kena bayar juga kan later on. But then dia mampulah nak survive dulu, nak kerja, nak makan dulu before dia nak create dia punya kredit balik untuk bayar semua sekali hutang yang dia dah due. Alright, itu beza insolvency dengan bankruptcy. Bankruptcy boleh mohon ataupun dianugerahkan untuk menyelamatkan daripada dikejar oleh debtor dan hutang itu meningkat saban tahun, saban hari. Insolvency itu dah start, maksudnya tak boleh bayar hutang bila dah due. Tak bayar hutang kat kawan tak apa, kawan tak kawan dengan kita lagi dah. Adik-beradik benci kita, parent pun tak sayang kita, contohlah kan. But then in the financial world, dengan financial institutions, tak bayar hutang, habis credit rating. Habis credit rating, semua benda tak boleh buat. Paling teruk apa? Susah nak dapat kerja, kerja kena tata tertib, tak boleh keluar negara, tak boleh mohon kerja yang bersesuaian. Kerja boleh, but then yang tak bersesuaian tu ataupun yang undervalue your education level dan sebagainya lah. Okay, cara-cara meningkatkan kekayaan. Ways to increase net worth, increase saving, reduce spending. Itu you all know lah, of course kan, easy. Increase the value investments, reduce the amount you owe. So this is the part, reduce your debt, increase your income, reduce your spending. So that's the simplest word lah. Boleh untuk menambahkan kekayaan. Kekayaan is not a negative thing. Saya harap semua tahu kan, kekayaan tu adalah to put us out of debt. Satu, menjauhkan kita atau mengurangkan kita daripada hutang, membuat kebajikan. Bila dah kaya boleh bayar cukai banyak, bantu kerajaan, boleh bayar zakat dan sebagainya.